Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. A popular vendor on Instagram posted something on her timeline and we thought it was worth discussing. She said that she remembered the story of her friend who passed away in December 2023. Guess what? The husband got married last month, December 2024, for a woman that sacrificed 20 years of her life and gave 4 kids to this man between the age of 9 and 20. 1 year, according to her, is too soon to remarry. We'd like to hear your thoughts on this, so join the conversation by calling us on 090-241-63440, or you could tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC. Of course, I have some of my ladies on the YouTube, so if you drop a comment on YouTube, we would also read it as well. So here, we listen, we don't judge. So don't judge us. We just want to give our opinion because this friend came out feeling sad that it seems that in just 1 year, her friend is being forgotten. So I want to get your opinion. What do you think about this? Do you feel like the fact that the man remarried means that her friend is being forgotten, or does the fact that he remarried just exactly a year after, does it mean that he has forgotten about the wife, or he doesn't love the former wife, or what do you think? Because in most cases, the opposite is the case for women. Women will stay 20 years, and many women will never marry after they've lost the love of their life, their first LOML.
Is it the love of your life that you wanted to pass before, that you have been praying that you should pass? Women don't stay on that again. I think that things are rapidly changing, and I think religious-wise or traditional-wise, there's no clause for when. I just think that morally is what we all hinge on. Oh, this is the moral thing to do because she has spent 20 years of her life with you, because she has spent 30 years of her life with you. I mean, I just went to Google now because I know my mom is a pastor, and I know that we've thought about this thing, marriage and remarrying. The only tenet in the Bible that supports remarrying is when your spouse dies. And even the Bible that we all run to, I'm sure that Alajatu will have references from the Quran. Even the Bible we all run to didn't stipulate a time. Because now the Bible doesn't even want you to fornicate. So in the process of your grieving, you would have needs. Let's not be oblivious of that fact. You will have needs, which could sometimes be bedroom needs. So instead of you picking 1, 2, 3 and so many other women, pick one and continue life. So I think it's just the moral standard that makes us heavy on, oh, she just died, oh, he just passed. There's no time frame at all anywhere that says that. Maybe traditions will say, oh, a woman should mourn her husband for 90 days, for 3 months. Some traditions will say 41 days. Some will say after 6 months. So these things differ. But I think that people should not castigate people if they want to move on with their life. The death of a spouse does not mean that your life should end. And the way that you can grieve or the way you want to immortalize your spouse, it solely depends on you. Nobody would, in this situation that the person is saying less than a year, who knows how much that woman has stepped in for that man in a year? Who knows if that woman was actually the shoulder the man cried on in that space of 1 year?
I couldn't believe this.
So yes. So I feel that nobody should put a gag on anybody's throat for wanting to be them or do them.
Wow. Okay,
interesting.
So, that the person remarries does not mean that the person stopped loving. You know, as Dami said, there are sexual needs to a survivor, male or female, that must be met within the boundaries of God. And marriage is ordained by God. If marriage wasn't ordained, some of us were not being married. That's the truth. And so it's the only legitimate way that some people are wired to have,
procreate,
sexual activity. And if it is not done, every other activity outside it is either fornication or adultery. And it doesn't measure that the person you're with is loved. I know some women who have married men whose wives have passed, and they say they cannot understand how they are sharing their husbands with dead women. Because you can hardly do anything right. You turn, if Dagbaja was here, if Tamedu was here, this is how she makes her stew. If the mother of my kids were here. I know men who, a man was compelled by his relatives to marry. He ended up marrying 2. Because one sister was bringing one woman, the other one was bringing one woman. They even spike him to be drunk. this person is my uncle. Calm down.
So very close story.
Let me not give my opinion.
The late wife was my own relative. The late wife, and we all felt slighted when, because whatever they worked for together, my auntie did not wait to chop it at all. As in, it was an unexpected death. My father felt so saddened when it was called that she had an ulcer attack and she was rushed to the Navy Town Hospital. By the time my father got there and they said she died, my father just couldn't understand how, from a very healthy person, very respectful, my auntie would pull everyone together, how she just passed. And so his friend, the husband now, have relocated back home. One person was here dragging. He has to remarry. The house in question was my auntie's sold seed. And all the women that wanted to enter, the two of them forced their way in. Whatever they did, two of them would do naming after a year.
Wonderful.
Yes. So it's real life. But I want to believe, because I know that man and my auntie and how their marriage was, that he's in a loveless relationship with those two women. He's not
gone but not forgotten.
It's not, exactly. And the house has not been the same.
The way people are going to, I do not support. As like in my mind, I'm just waiting. I'm not calling me here as in like.
And in your support, remember you're moderating this show. Let me talk my own. Yes, so that is inevitable, and nobody prays to die young or to die early. Do you understand? But then the issue of remarrying is this very subjective one, because it varies from one person to the other. It's an individual decision and stuff. But then let's take it back to culture. Traditionally, I would always speak from an Igbo girl perspective, where after the mourning period, I know culturally back in the day, when a woman loses her husband, after the mourning period, she's now then given to her husband's brothers, one of them, to continue the marriage. Do you understand? At that point, do they say, oh no, because you should have mourned, he just died, you do not love him, or love? No, those matter. They are more focused on continuity, on the children, on emotional.
Those marriages are not meant to be consummated, right?
No, nobody says so. No. There are no rules and regulations to it. It's marriage, and and you decide. Yes, yeah. And then emotional stability, continuity for the kids, and a security that they feel that a man also gives to the woman within the home system. And this is us as Igbo people. And over time, that culture had, they now say, okay, now you can't force the woman. Now the woman has to decide what she wants to do. And then look at it too, like from the angle, like you said, fornication, committing sin, and the marriage is ordained by God, and that's the only cover where you can actually have sexual activities and not condemn. So instead of when you're talking about diseases, bringing different women around your children, and it's important to create stability for them. By I think it's an honorable thing to do. By even marrying one person and bringing the person home for children is not easy, especially if maybe the history between that man and his wife has been that maybe the man is the provider, never around. Most fathers are like that, where the woman is the constant person at home. If that's the setup that they had, and the man is clueless as to what to do, in that situation, and he decides to remarry, that is his business. We should learn to leave people to do them. In this life, there are no rules and regulations or law or morals against remarrying. As if they do you, I beg, do them. And it doesn't mean that you don't love who died, who you married before. And then there's also a possibility that person you married before, maybe you do not even love her, and this new person where you won't come love. Life is funny. I'm coming now. Life is funny. And that's the reality of life. And sometimes some men learn their mistakes from the former marriage or things that they feel they didn't do right. Because I have a friend that lost his wife during COVID, and then he keeps saying that there's so many things that he didn't do right and everything, and now he knows better. Whoever he's going to marry now, he's going to have the best part of him, because he learns. And unfortunately,
everybody's in the laboratory. Moderator, over to you.
Because I honestly do not agree. I hear you. I just believe that love is an action word. And if you truly loved your spouse, you will not be in a hurry to replace them for any reason. I feel that a lot of times we give concession because we admit there is a vulnerability to being a man, or a vulnerability that you cannot control your sexual needs or sexual urge. But if there is a medical condition that is preventing your partner. Like, imagine you're in a relationship with someone and for 1 year you cannot do anything. You might as well not be, you're not getting that sexual satisfaction. So you will not be faithful to that person because you cannot control your self-worth. I don't agree with the idea that,
faithful to who?
Personally, I don't agree with the fact that within a year of losing a partner, you can fall in love again.
Within a year.
I fall in love again. I'm saying my opinion. I do not believe, and I believe that marriage should be born out of.
I like the caveat, falling in love. You might marry and not fall in love.
Marriage should be born out of love.
No, not all marriages are like that.
Maybe you will let me land my own opinion. Marriage should be born out of love. Yes, to serve the purpose of companionship. There's a cultural statement I've heard over and over again. Who will help him take care of the children? They are your children. You are not marrying a full-grown human being to help you take care of your children. And any woman that is submitting herself and her life to help a man raise children, you should look at yourself again and wonder, so my life is to come and help this man to raise his children? We need to understand. When we moved to the island last week, I had to stay in my in-laws' place, and somebody was asking me, so who is taking care of your children? I said, who is taking care of my children? They are our children. I have a husband who also is the father of those children. Why are you asking me, a woman, who is taking care of my children when I'm not around? What is the man, who is the father, doing? As foundational as it is, once we get it right that husbands and wives are fathers and mothers and both are responsible, it won't be once one person die, you will say you cannot handle again. How would you look at a woman who comes up and say, I need help to take care of these children, so I have remarried after 6 months? They will call that woman names. And that people do. We cannot deny it. They do.
They do.
But if a man does it, they will understand that somebody is helping you to raise your children. Let's address that. A raising of children.
I want to address.
A raising of children.
You are talking
like they can do a good job.
Ideal. Oyibo is your Oyibo. It's Oyibo ideal, because I'm going to tell you what is African ideal. African ideal is that the man goes out, hunts, and brings home. The woman stays home, nurtures. So there are two different things. If a woman is already used to nurturing, nobody will have to go and hunt. So she will need help. And if one allergy is somewhere that can go and hunt and bring money, she will remarry. She doesn't have to love him. It's to make it functional. It's functionality that looking stability. If the man has always been hunting, if they tell him to come and wash ordinary plate, talk less of to change diaper, he will not understand it. He will need a nurturer. He doesn't have to love the person. And they can have an arrangement. They can discuss it. Amaka was explaining to you. You see what they used to do in those days. It's not beyond even keeping the woman to continue procreating. It's also to ensure that properties within the family do not go out.
I understand that.
So we cannot continue to see everything from an emotional point of view. I was telling you, my own auntie, I used to stay for her to go and meet him. That man was in the military for a long time. I used to keep her kids as a university student for her to go and see her husband when the military would not allow him. She waited for years. When he was in service, long period, he won't be with his children. By the time he was retiring, and they had planned where they would just retire to, my auntie died. It's my own auntie.
We'll take a quick break now. When we return, you all know where I stand on this matter. I'm the emotional lover girl. I've never denied that part. But let's talk about the children when we come back. Stay with us. Be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.